iconic Beetle. It's a car that's been around for over 80 years and history says it's the world's most beloved car. In the modern day though, its design is as loved as it is hated. For some, it's a car with an impractical price, but to some, it's just a fun car for that sunny day at the beach or a drive by the countryside. Whether you love the Beetle or hate it, the story behind its creation is truly fascinating, as it involves surviving a world war, engineering excellence, ambitions to conquer the world, and the man Adolf Hitler himself. You are watching Business Flicks, and this is the amazing story of the Volkswagen Beetle. Two very famous people are responsible for creating the Beetle. The first is Ferdinand Porsche, the founder of Porsche, and the second, which might be a bit of a surprise, Adolf Hitler. Part of Hitler's plan in making Germany great was making it completely motorized. During his time, the Ford Model T was a huge success, and this inspired him to give Germany a great family car. In 1933, Hitler sketched out the car he had in mind, which historians argue was either inspired from Mercedes and Tatra designs or was possibly copied from a Jewish engineer named Joseph Ganz, who Hitler buried into history. The project was underway the very next year in 1934 when Hitler commissioned the already famous Ferdinand Porsche to take up the project. This was Hitler's dream project, and he hoped that the Beetle would become the world's most successful car. Porsche was responsible for specifications such as that of the engine and braking power, whereas Hitler added the following specs. The car was to be a 4-seater to carry 4 adults or a family of 2 adults and 3 children. The car was to travel 100 kilometers per 7 liters of gasoline and maintain a speed of 100 kilometers per hour. Hitler also required that the car must be powerful enough for the autobahns. Porsche proposed a price of 1,550 Reichsmarks, whereas Hitler brought it down to 900, which represented the average German income over 31 weeks. After almost 4 years of prototyping and testing, the car's design was finalized in 1938, and Hitler named it Kraft durch Freudwagen, which meant strength through joy in German. The car finally made its debut in 1939, but only a handful were sold to the military before World War II broke out the same year. The factory, which was located at Wolfsburg, had to halt production of civilian cars and produce military vehicles and rockets instead. The factory was even bombed during the course of war, but miraculously managed to survive in decent shape. The end of the war saw Germany being defeated, Hitler committing suicide, and the division of Germany into 4 military-controlled regions, of which Britain got the northwest part containing Wolfsburg. When the British visited the partially damaged factory in 1945, they found under the rubble the prototype drawings of the car. The British initially didn't want the car as they found it ugly, but as the factory was massive, had impressive manufacturing equipment, and was functional even after the war, they considered manufacturing these cars for their army. This was done more as a favor to Germany, which was now poor after the war and needed employment. Under the leadership of Major Ivan Hurst of the British Army, the Wolfsburg factory began production in 1945 with an order of 20,000 cars, which were now renamed to Volkswagen Type 1. When stable conditions returned, the British handed over the factory to West Germany in 1949, and it was world domination from here on. The car was first exported to the US in 1949, and only 2 were sold that year. The very next year, surprisingly, thousands were sold as Americans finally understood that it was a budget car with quality. The demand in the US was so high that a manufacturing unit was set up in New Jersey in 1955, and cars were being sold in excess of 100,000 by 1960. 1955 was the magical year as the Wolfsburg factory rolled out the 1 millionth car. The car had everyone talking about it and was popularly nicknamed the Beetle due to its resemblance to the insect. But it was only in 1969 that Volkswagen officially named the car the Beetle. On 17th February 1972, the 15,007,034th Beetle came off the production line, which broke Ford Model T's record as the maximum car produced in numbers, and this completed Hitler's dream. With much success, the 70s passed, and so did the 80s. But the world's most successful car, which was once selling in excess of 500,000 units in 1970, was now down to a few thousand by the 90s, primarily due to its outdated features. The company, in response, launched the new Beetle in 1977, which was a modern version of the original Beetle, containing a front engine and amped up features. The new Beetle was sold in parallel to the original one and is the Beetle that is available today. As for the original Beetle, the saying "all good things come to an end" came true in 2003 when the company decided to produce the last ever Beetle on 30th July in Mexico, making it the 21,529,464th Beetle to be ever produced. Over 80 years have passed since Hitler drew the first Beetle, and yet it is very much amongst us. It's not often that you come across love and hate in the same sentence, but it is true that the world's most hated man made the world's most loved car. Hope you like this video. Do check out other videos on my channel, and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.